What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Sanchez 405 coming at you. It's on the Warpath. If you're new to the channel, make sure you click the subscribe button, hit the bell so you get notifications anytime there's new content posted to the channel. As always, like, comment, share this video out because it's a good one. I told y'all we're gonna have another interview on here today, and we've got Manny on here. You can check him out on Twitter. I'll have all his links and everything in the description from Talking Sports with Manny. That's his YouTube channel, but he also does the Backrow Redskins show. Manny, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to come in here, and I'll let you introduce yourself to the folks here on YouTube.
All right. Hey, what's good, everybody, man? Hey, thank you so much for having me on the show once again. Guys, my name is Manny, host of the Backrow Redskins show and Talk Sports with Manny podcast. I love sports. I love the Redskins. As you can see back there, I love the Lakers. I love DMV sports in general. But yeah, man, so happy to be on the show.
Yeah, appreciate you, brother. And we'll dive right into it. So news broke last week that Kyle Smith has went down to Atlanta to be in the same role as he was here in Ashburn. So I guess my first question to you is, what are your thoughts on that? And then there's a second part to it that we'll touch here in a second. But what were your thoughts on what Kyle Smith has done? And some of his scouts left as well, Cole Spencer being one of them. Just talk about that.
Yeah, so Kyle Smith, man, he has been magnificent ever since he's been with the team. And specifically, maybe like the last 2-3 years, the drafts have been awesome. I've been one of those fans that, I watch the games, I have a good time, with the games and stats and things of that nature. But it was not up until 2 or 3 years ago that I really started to dive into the draft. Being that, hey, I never knew that I'll be hosting a Redskins podcast. So now I really got to know what I'm talking about. I really got to dive in on the draft and know what's going on. But Kyle Smith has been amazing, man. Like, you look at the drafts and who he's finding in these drafts. You look at the 7th rounds, guys like Moreland, guys like Cam Carl. The guy is magnificent. Anybody can draft well in the first 2-3 rounds. But it's about what do you do from rounds 4 through 7. And you can look at the track history and see, hey, he's been hitting on a lot of these picks. Guys like Cole Holcomb, even when he traded that Kirk Cousins pick back and was able to get Bryce Love and Wes Martin, I believe. Things like that. Yes, it hasn't worked out perfectly, but for the most part, he knows what he's doing. And Atlanta is going to be getting a very good guy to come in and help them draft some young talent.
And he's going to join his adoptive cousin, as I like to say Arthur Smith, whose dad is part owner of the team right now and is down there, new head coach down there in Atlanta. Interesting enough with that, Jay Gruden had some thoughts about it, and Dan Snyder would just come off of the yacht, make the pick after Kyle had did all the work. Do you think that there's some truth to this, or do you think Jay just needs to sit down and worry about finding another job?
Well, you know what? I think it's half and half. I mean, being a Redskins fan since 1999, we can see that Dan Snyder, I think that's kind of when he bought the team, right around that time. Yep. So ever since I've been a fan, it's been Dan Snyder, and you can see that Dan Snyder's hands is on the franchise. He makes all the decisions. He's one of those guys that wants to, make the draft picks. He wants to control the team pretty much. So, yes, it's sad seeing Kyle go. That's part one. Part two, the guys that we're bringing in, although I don't know too much about the 2 new guys that we've brought in, but what I can say is we finally have actual football guys running the show. You see that Ron Rivera has control of this team. Ron Rivera has pretty much the last say so. And you see a guy like Dwayne Haskins being cut, who was a Dan Snyder pick. You can kind of see that things are shifting. And you know what? I will side with Jay Gruden on this. I mean, I think that there's actually some I mean, Dan Snyder, the track record speaks for itself. So yes, I'm 100% with Jay on this one.
Oh man, I think he can probably take Trey Quinn and Ryan Grant, and maybe they can go on a family's cruise or something in the offseason.
Don't forget about Capri.
Oh Lord,
Capri Bibbs.
Yeah, you wrong for that. You wrong for that. Oh no. Well, maybe they can talk over blocking and drinks and maybe find. I don't know. Let me
Hey,
stop.
and you got to invite one more guy to the party.
Who's
DJ
that?
Swearinger got to be invited to
Oh
the
Lord,
party.
no. DJ gonna go to jail if that's the case. He gonna get that South Carolina on there, brother. If he get his hands around.
Man, that's gonna be a fire party right there.
Oh Lordy, man, it can all be planned by Fred Smoot. How about that?
Mr. Energy, man.
There you go. But and with the front office, and actually they're going to get introduced today. Martin Mayhew and Marty Herney officially to the public, and they were working with the Senior Bowl. And kind of circling back what you said about having to learn the draft. I did the Senior Bowl on Saturday.
Oh, awesome.
I couldn't, and it goes back to what you say about like kind of catching up and knowing what some of these players are. There's so many college football games on a given Saturday. You don't know who to choose. Like I watch the SEC just because I live where I live at. We live like 4 hours from Knoxville. So people are going to like Alabama. I live like 3 hours away from Lexington, Tennessee, Tennessee, and then Kentucky. But so I know exactly where you're coming from in that regard. But Kyle did do the job. I think his draft skills kind of were there, but I think it's more to be a general manager than just drafting. There's a reason why he didn't get interviewed by anybody else. And
you know what? Fans don't understand that. It's two different jobs. Being a GM is something that you have to grow into. Like, maybe if he was with the team in the same capacity, maybe in the next 5 years, he might not want to wait that long. But the thing is, for somebody to give you the keys to the franchise, being a GM is no joke. As you're doing the drafting side, there's also the personnel side. Are you able to go ahead and bring in free agents? Are you able to, negotiate? It's so much that comes with being a GM that fans were not understanding. Yes, I was a Kyle Smith fan. I love the guy. The guy was amazing. He did lots of great things for us draft-wise. But like you said, it's more than just drafting a great draft. It's more to being a GM. So although I think it's Herney, he had fans were kind of going back and forth, and I'm kind of learning from the fans, seeing what they're saying, saying, oh, he didn't have a good draft. You know what I'm saying? Change of scenery helps. We see it all the time with players. Why not GMs? If you think about it, it's a cycle that goes on. The same coaches are getting hired over and over and over. It's a cycle. Same GMs are getting hired and hired and hired. It's all about experience. And sometimes you learn from your mistakes. Sometimes you don't. So, we're going to definitely see what happens with this group of guys that Ron Rivera has brought in.
Yeah, absolutely. And it, like we said, it's Ron's show, and the disconnect between the fans is we got to learn this. If we say in Ron we trust, we've got to go 100 with it, and we saw where that's gotten us. I'm not saying don't call him out when he says something stupid, but at the end of the day, we got to give Martin and Marnie, Marnie, good Lord, Marty and Martin the opportunity to perfect their craft. Right,
Marty,
right?
Marty?
Yeah.
Hey,
I said,
let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
I got a question for you. When the team drafted Antonio Gibson, what was your reaction?
I loved it. I loved it. Oh, I did. I loved it. I got a video on it back here when they drafted him, because when I looked at the guy, I was like, this guy can be legit. And I thought he could be, and you got to think about it. I thought he was going to be the third running back off the bench, because we had Adrian Peterson still in the frame. Darius Geis hadn't beat up on nobody yet. So I said, oh my gosh, this running back room is going to be disgusting.
I got a different twist for you. So
go ahead.
For me, knowing that we lacked wide receivers, right? We draft this guy. I wasn't upset. I said, let me find out who this guy is. Now, I didn't watch no Memphis games, even though I lived 3 hours from Memphis. I didn't watch no Memphis game. I didn't know nothing about no Antonio Gibson. All I knew was that Memphis has had a pretty good track record of bringing in running backs. You see Pollard out there. You see Henderson out there with the Rams. So I'm like, Memphis is pumping in some players. So I was excited about that. But then I said, okay, it said wide receiver / running back. So what I was thinking was, this is a wide receiver that can play some running back.
Right.
So I watched the highlights. Every time he touched the ball, he was a home run hitter. And all I can think of was, is he a gadget player? I said, whatever he is, a player. You look at the limited touches that he's received, but then you look at the yards and the touchdowns. It's like, so I was thinking, oh, we got our slot wide receiver here. We got a guy who can play in the outside, he can play in the inside. I'm like, oh, we got a receiver, because I wanted a receiver so bad. So we get this guy, and I do my own research. I say all this to say that sometimes the coaches in the front office will make a decision, right? Fans know nothing about the guy and just start running out. Oh, we got this dude named Antonio Gibson. Oh, he's going to play running back. We already have guys. We already have this guy. Oh, Bryce Love is going to have a breakout season this year. You know what I'm saying? And this and that. And, we got Adrian Peterson. We got this. So my whole mindset at the time was, this is our wide receiver. He's going to be a slot wide receiver. And I'm excited to have him based off of the research that I've done for myself. But we now go back to the point that you say. We got to trust Ron Rivera, right? If you say in Ron Rivera, I trusted him with the Gibson pick. And if you remember, in that same draft, we needed a tight end. We wanted a tight end. There were a couple decent tight ends in the 7th round, and he went and took Cam Carl, and we were ready to crucify this guy. Yep. We were like, this man, what is he doing? Right. We need a tight end. He goes and he brings in Logan Thomas. Oh, what is he doing? This guy played quarterback. Logan Thomas was one of the best tight ends this year. He probably wasn't top 5, but he was definitely top 7, top 8. He goes and gets J.D. McKissick. I hated that. I was like, what are we doing?
You hated that thing? Oh, God, I loved it. I loved J.D. McKissick.
But
I loved it.
But my reasoning, I'm like, we got like 5 or 6, 7 running backs. What the heck are we doing? They say this guy can play some wide receiver. You go and draft Antonio Gibson. It's the exact same thing. Why are you duplicating that? So, I mean, I'm going crazy in my mind. Free agency comes, right? We don't get nobody. We Austin Hooper, no. All these guys, no. We go and get the guy from Pittsburgh for safety. What's his name?
Sean Davis. Yeah.
Where is he now? So it's like a lot of these moves that Ron was making, he was not a liked guy. He was not a liked guy during the draft. He was not a liked guy during free agency. Until I saw with my own 2 eyes, that's when I said, in Ron Rivera, I trust.
Come on now.
Every single move that he's made has worked out more than it hasn't worked out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He made something that didn't make no sense. You bring in the receiver from the Giants.
Okay. Latimer.
Yeah. That guy. So he's supposed to be our leader. That was a fail. So, some moves he felt. Fred Davis, that didn't work out. Troy Apke being his star safety heading into the season, that didn't work. So I'm not saying that Ron Rivera is perfect, and I'm almost done with this point. Ron Rivera also said, we're going to build this team. We're going to develop these guys. And then he didn't. When the whole NFC East became trash, he switched his argument. He switched his statement. So all in all, what I'm saying is us fans need to learn how to trust Ron Rivera, because obviously he is making some pretty good moves. He's making some pretty good choices, and we got to trust his judgment.
Absolutely. No, you're 110% right on that one, Manny. And I'll tell you this just from the jump. I'm part of the Logan Thomas. I think I'm like the vice president of the Logan Thomas fan club. That is that boy. I love watching him play. I always told people, I say, calm down. And guess what? If you look at his numbers compared to Austin Hooper, who would you be paying that money to?
Hello,
Logan Thomas. Come on now.
Exactly.
If people wanted us to spend all this money on Stupor Hooper, as I like to call him, give me Logan Thomas any day of the week. I said that boy, he's learned how to play the position, and has looked great. And it's kind of there's you gave the perfect segue though. Ron said we were talking about the NFCs being trash, and it brings up the opportunity now that in this trash division, the division leaders have no quarterback, have no consistent quarterback play. They had 4 guys come in there combined for over 3,700 yards, 16 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, and we're down here in February, and there's so many questions about who Washington should go out and get. The one guy that a lot of people said, I am not one of these people, was told them to be was traded on Saturday. Matt Stafford. I was at my favorite bar locally here, and I almost cried. I ran across the bar. I was so happy that he got traded to LA, so people could shut up. I don't, and I'll get your take on this, and my people know this take about it. The man's been there 10 years, 11 years in Detroit. What has he won?
Nothing.
The Bears have won 2 division championships since he's been in there. And look, I like to say I ain't in court, but I yield the rest of my time. I'll let your take on that and what you thought of that trade.
I am with you on that. See, I'm a guy that I loved Kirk Cousins here in DC.
Me too.
Now, Kirk Cousins, yes, he couldn't win the big games. Yes, he whatever you want to say. But one thing you can say is that Kirk Cousins went out there and gave it his all. When you're losing, anybody who knows me knows that I love the quarterbacks that give us a chance at winning. I'm not saying go out there and throw a whole bunch of passes and throw a whole bunch of picks, but sometimes you have these quarterbacks. I'm not going to call anybody out. The ones that like to check down, the ones where you're down 30 points and you're throwing it to Chris Thompson and you're throwing it to, Kirk Cousins. When I look at Kirk Cousins and I look at Matthew Stafford, they're almost kind of like the same person.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And Kirk has won a playoff game. So you say you can't win the big games. He's won a playoff game. But as a desperate franchise, as a franchise who does not have a quarterback, I felt that, hey, Matthew Stafford was going to be a pretty decent pickup. I was for Stafford, but I was not for the compensation. I've always said I did not want to give a first-round pick for Matthew Stafford. You can go back and listen to my pods. You can go back and listen to my statements. Call me out on it if I was wrong. I said, I am not willing to trade a first-round pick for Matthew Stafford. At the time, the price, we didn't even know the price. So I'm thinking maybe a third, and the third gets it done, maybe a third and the second. But I wasn't willing to give up a first-round pick for Matthew Stafford. As things progressed, when they said, hey, it's mutual interest, we want to, part ways, that's when the price started going up because now, okay, Stafford is available, and there's going to be a bidding war. So then I'm like, okay, you know what? You want 19, you can have 19. Then I'm hearing they want 19. They want a first and something else. A first and? Nah, man. Nah. You ain't worth a first and. Even when Alex Smith came here, I was not for that. I was not for Alex Smith. I'm sorry. Thank you for what you've done. With you. I was not for Alex Smith. I was not for giving up that third and Kendall Fuller, our best corner at the time, our best up-and-coming corner at the time. So with Stafford, yeah, I wanted him here in DC. I felt like if he's here, he's pretty much who we just let walk away. And you can debate that Kirk Cousins is better than Matthew Stafford. And I won't be mad. I will not be mad at that argument because, like you said, what has Matthew Stafford done? Matthew Stafford is a guy that produced a lot with Megatron. Post Megatron, what are your numbers? How many playoff games have you won? You hear all that bull crap about, he didn't have a lot of talent in Detroit, so he's going to have a lot of talent in DC? So wait. So what you're telling me is that Terry McLaurin and Cam Sims is better than Kenny Golladay and Marvin Jones? Get out of here. What the heck are you talking about? So it's like fans, I like to keep it real.
Right.
I wanted Stafford, but at the same time, it's kind of like, yes, it's going to be a major upgrade over what we have now, but what has he done? Can we get him the weapons? So is Stafford coming here alone? It's kind of like in basketball. Everybody's teaming up, right? Building a super team. And when you're building your super team, you call your homies come on the squad, right?
Right.
Tom Brady jumped ship, went to Tampa Bay. He brought his boys over, Gronkowski and AB. If Stafford is coming here, who the heck is he bringing with him? Is Galladay going to sign?
He going to call Reggie Bush out of retirement.
You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, yes, we get a quarterback who's a starting caliber quarterback, good quarterback, but at the same time, what have you done? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of like where I was, but I'm like, I felt like we are a quarterback away from competing for playoffs and consistently making the playoffs. So even bringing in the Stafford, you're looking at 2-3 years. Is it worth a first-round pick? For me, it was a no, but then with the whole market changing, I was willing to give up 19 to get Stafford. That's my take on it. It didn't happen. Where do we go from here?
Going back to your Kirk Cousins, Matt Stafford point, I've always said Matt Stafford is like the diet version of Kirk Cousins because he puts up their stat packers. They can beat lesser teams, but they can't rise up to the occasion. And really, if we're talking about the playoff game, and I'm not here to play, if, shoulda, coulda, woulda, but we're talking about this game was in overtime and they just marched downfield.
Right.
And Drew Brees throws 2 picks. We might be talking about something different. Kirk Cousins might not have won a game. Right. And, it goes back to the market change. I liken it to what Reddit did with GameStop last week. Right. They put this price up on this business that's really going down the drain.
Yep.
And that was good for years early on. About 10 years ago, GameStop used to be the thing, but now they only give you $3 for a game you bought 2 days ago. So that's what Matt Stafford is. Right. I honestly think that. Right. And he might have a good arm, but I don't want to sell tickets. I'm tired of trying to sell tickets. I want to win ball games. Exactly. And he doesn't have this. Ain't the SEC? This ain't Georgia. So you're not getting a chance to play Tennessee every other week.
Right.
He doesn't have it for me, and I wish him all luck in LA. Good for him. I think Detroit got out like gangbangers in that one. They really did.
Got him.
Oh my gosh. Woo, yes, they did. That guy, he was like, who is this? Got him.
Look. The beauty of that trade for Detroit. You talk about Goff only has 2 years left on his deal. The rest is tough. You can cut him, no cap hit, no whatever. So if he has 2 years left on the deal, you traded 2 first-round picks, a third-round pick, and Jared Goff to get Stafford. Is Stafford really an upgrade over Jared Goff? That's debatable. We are going to see. Look, the Rams have a 2-year window to win the Super Bowl. If they do not win the Super Bowl, you failed.
Yeah.
You traded 2 firsts to get Jalen Ramsey. You traded 2 firsts and a third to get Stafford. You already paid Cooper Kupp. You're probably going to pay Robert Woods. You let go of Gurley, which was good. You got Cam Akers. You have a great defense. And all that was missing was a quarterback, right? The pressure is on. So if the Stafford truthers and the Stafford fans are saying that Stafford is the man, I want to see this season. If
I can't wait to.
This year or next year, then it was a fail. Then we dodged the bullet.
Yep. To be honest. I think we did. No, we dodged a bullet.
Because the Rams have a very talented roster. Very talented roster. So if you can't win with that roster, to have 2 really good wide receivers, you got Van Jefferson, who's up and coming, another guy that's going to take a step. You got 2 really good tight ends, although they're going to lose effort, I believe, in free agency. But still, you have weapons around you. You got a running game. The same running game they've said, Stafford has never had a lot of running backs that rush for 100 yards. Blah, blah, blah. Excuses, right?
Yeah, right.
Stafford has never had a defense. Excuses. You now have a defense. You now have an offensive. You have everything that you need. So I don't want to hear the excuses. If Stafford is that special, right? He's that special quarterback. Oh, he has an arm. He has upside. He's a special quarterback. Well, we're going to see. We're going to see this season. I wish him the best. But like I said, if it does not work, fans were expecting Stafford to come here and be a great value type Deshaun Watson, to be a great value type Aaron Rodgers. I think he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's a great quarterback. I think he's a startable quarterback, probably a top 15, top 20 quarterback in the league. I'll say top 15. He's top 15 quarterback in the league. But sometimes a top 15 quarterback in the league cannot carry you when you're missing pieces on offense, when you're not as talented in an area. You know what I'm saying? The running game still hasn't been consistent for the football team. So it's kind of like you're bringing in Stafford, you're bringing him in to be the savior. That's what we would have pretty much been doing. And like I said, I'm kind of with you. I'm kind of like half and half. Had we got him, I would have been happy. We didn't get him. I'm not upset.
Yeah, Lord, I think we dodged a bullet there, man. I think it was just like that show on with the pawn shop, and they would always be trying to hustle people. I think we would have got out hustled by them dudes at the 8 Mile. But since we can, thank God, scratch off Matt Stafford off the list, I'll give you 3 scenarios here.
Okay.
So I want your dream quarterback that you can get here that's available or that's possibly available. I want you to give me a guy that you would stay clear of, and then I want you to give a realistic option for me.
Okay. So my dream quarterback would be Deshaun Watson. My stay away quarterback would probably be Deshaun Watson.
What?
And look, I got it's a two-sided story. Then the realistic option that we can possibly get is probably going to be Sam Darnold. And nobody's going to like Sam Darnold, but that's realistic. Like, let's just say, hey, look, it's going to be getting slimmer and slimmer and slimmer as the dominoes fall into place. So if the Jets do draft a quarterback, they got to trade Sam Darnold. Okay. You can possibly get a Sam Darnold for a 3rd round pick if they draft a quarterback. Okay. If they don't draft a quarterback, the price for Sam Darnold is pretty high right now. You can possibly push for a 1st round pick because he's still under that rookie contract. And I believe this is going to be his 4th year, right? And I'm not sure if they picked up his 5th year option. Do you know?
I don't think so. No, they have.
No. So either way it goes, you're getting a quarterback that has upside, maybe a change of scenery because there's no Adam Gase now, right? And we've seen what players have done when they leave Adam Gase. So let's just, Now, the reason why Deshaun Watson is my dream scenario, you put Deshaun Watson with this team as is. Let's say that we don't lose defensive players because they want 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and 2 defensive starters, which is nuts. Let's say we trade 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and it gets it done, or 3 firsts and 2 seconds, and it gets it done. Heck yeah, sign me up. Heck yeah, sign me up. Now, if it's going to take 2 defensive starters, I had a conversation on Twitter, and, a fan was saying, give them Cole Holcomb and give them Jimmy Moreland. Nobody wants Jimmy Moreland. Nobody probably wants Cole Holcomb. See, us as fans, we know what we have in Jimmy and Cole. We know what they can be. But other teams don't value the Washington football team players like we do. So if they're talking about 2 young players, they want 2 young players on rookie deals that were 1st or 2nd round picks, meaning the Jonathan Allens, the Paynes, the Chase Youngs, which we're not going to give. No. They want guys like that. You know what I'm saying? If Reuben Foster was healthy and balling out, they want guys like that. Guys that are still young and have a star potential. Okay. In the NBA, when you trade for a superstar, right? For example, when Paul George was traded from Pacers to OKC, the Pacers were able to get Oladipo and Sabonis. Both guys became all-stars. You see what I'm saying? It's like that's kind of how you have to think in football, even though this doesn't happen. Not every day you get a quarterback that's in his prime, a top 5 quarterback in his prime saying, hey, I want out. Now, here's the flip side. Here's why I'm like, stay away from Deshaun Watson. If you do get a Deshaun Watson, you got to lose. Let's say you lose Payne or Allen and Cam Carl, a guy like that. So you're going to give up one of your very good young guys, and then you're going to give up another one that's up and coming. So I'm just putting on my GM hat. They're going to say, hey, I want 2 firsts, I want 2 seconds, and I want Payne or Allen, most likely Allen because of the contract situation, and then I want Cam Carl. That's nuts. We're like, oh my gosh. So you lose that, right? You got your Watson. What does the cap numbers look like now? Absorbing that contract. Do we have money to go get him and Allen Robinson? Do we have money to go get? What would our receiving core look like? Okay. Oh, we can't get Allen Robinson. We can't get Godwin. We can't get the top 15 options. We probably settle for a broke down AJ Green or maybe a patched up T.Y. Hilton, So I look at it that way. Yes, Deshaun Watson can come here with, let's say we lost Montez Sweat.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big loss.
Yeah.
Can we replace him? Yes, with our third round pick, right? We're looking for a Montez Sweat replacement with our third round. So it's kind of like, I kind of want to open our minds up a little bit. Yes, getting Deshaun Watson is great. If we're just getting Deshaun Watson to the team without losing what we have on defense, I'm all in. Where I'm not all in is when we have to lose defensive starters. So what used to be our strength is now our weakness. So when you lose a Payne, yes, we have Settle and Big Matt. I get that. But then you lose like something else, like a Curl or a Montez. Then it's okay. Now we got holes here. We already had holes at linebacker. We got holes at corner. So now you're bringing Deshaun. Guess what? You can't re-sign Darby. He ain't taking a discount for what? He's out.
No.
See what I'm saying? So it's kind of like we got to look at it both ways. Yes, we're going to solve having a franchise quarterback that can possibly play with the team for the next 10 years, hopefully. But then now we got to build up the rest of the team without having first-round picks, second-round picks. So it's kind of like that's kind of where I am.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, yeah, you bring him in, let's go. You bring him in and they take a lot. Oh, man, what are we going to do? So what is your take?
I mean, I think at the end of the day, I'm not afraid to be bold. And that's what I want folks to realize is I get it. Like, and you may have seen my video from the day that I talked about should we go and pursue Deshaun Watson? I get the price. Like, don't think I'm just like this guy that's like, we need to get Deshaun Watson. I don't really care. But and I'm going to ask you this question later on, but every year I always wonder when I watch the Super Bowl, what can Washington do to get here? Who won the Super Bowl last year? Andy Reid, Big Red. He's a leader of men. What's Ron Rivera? What's the first thing you think of? Leader of men, right? Right. What is BA? He's a leader of men. What's the other thing that they have? Generational quarterback talent.
Yep.
And that is what I'm looking for. Like when people say, and don't get me wrong, I love what Taylor Heinicke has done for this team. I love how it's a great story. But Alex Smith, what he's done, we're not in the business of making Lifetime movies.
Right.
We're not. We're in the business of winning ball games. That's
true.
What you got to think about. We get we get it. Like, you know, they're going to make a movie about Julie Donaldson, Jason Wright, Jennifer King, Alex Smith, Taylor Heinicke. It's all going to be the CBS evening, the Saturday night movie in 5 years. That's exactly what it is. It's going to be Brian's song. It's going to be Burgundy's song. You know, of how we all came together for the 2020 Washington football team. But honestly,
I feel you though. I feel you. Look.
Like that's how I feel. But that's my take on it, though. I'm like,
now I'm with you though.
Got to be bold, but
I'm
be
with
smart.
You because when you have a franchise quarterback, like we talked about, people expecting Stafford to come in here and be the savior. Deshaun Watson can carry that load. He's that good to kind of fix some of the issues. So if we lose some defense, he's going to be able to put up enough points to kind of, you know what I'm saying? When you look at guys like Aaron Rodgers, he had a great game. Yes, they didn't win, but it's kind of like he gives you that chance. It's kind of like when the game's on the line, you got that guy, you got that special talent that can change the game for you. Yes, he's worth it. Deshaun Watson is the real deal, and he's not going to be cheap. Make no mistakes about it.
Right.
At the same time, it's like you bring him in, you know, we're going to have some deficiencies, but at the same time, you got that quarterback that you've been looking for since I've been a fan. Since 1999, the best quarterback we ever had was Brad Johnson.
Facts. That
After
is a
Brad
fact.
Johnson, God bless Mark Brunell. He tried. He did some nice things for us, but we just knew that Washington football is a retirement home where these quarterbacks come to retire, right? Mark Brunell, Donovan McNabb, that didn't work. Then when we
Alex
draft,
Smith.
then when Alex Smith, you know what I'm saying? So when you draft these young guys and we don't keep them or we misuse them, we almost had a generational guy in R.G. Smith, and we've seen how that happened. You know, lack of protecting the quarterback, lack of play calling, coaching, not knowing how to slide. So, yes, getting that quarterback. And then another thing is you get Deshaun Watson. The offensive line has improved. They have improved. Do you think the offensive line will be able to keep him safe? That's another thing.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
I think so. I think they can because look at this. This offense can keep him protected because of look what Morgan Moses has done under John Matsko.
That's true. That's true.
As opposed to Bill Callahan.
Mm-hmm.
Look at what he's done.
Right.
Brandon Sheriff is an all-pro.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like, come on, family. Like, and you
pay?
put
West.
Yeah. Sheriff? At this point, I think you have to. I really do.
You have to. I mean, so you're gonna see like a shift. I think. Let's say we get Deshaun Watson and we do lose the two defensive starters. Mm-hmm. As long as it's not Chase Young, that's my only request.
Facts. Yeah.
If they do make this deal, because we're gonna give an offer that can't nobody refuse, being that our pick is 19 and the other two future picks are going to be in the middle. If we have Deshaun Watson, obviously that means we're winning games. You know, that means we're going deep into the playoffs, hopefully, right? So they understand that. So then that means they got to be compensated by two really good defensive players for the fact that, hey, we're not giving you a top 10 pick. You see what I'm saying? Like the Jets or Miami or Carolina can offer. So I'm with it. I'm with it. That means, you know, you get Deshaun Watson. Let's say we lose Montez Sweat. Let's say we lose. Let's just say they take Jonathan Allen and Montez Sweat. Right? 2 first-round picks instead of 3. I know it's. But look, I'm just trying to.
I know.
You know, so let's say they take 19 and then they take next year first. So 2 first-round picks instead of 3, but then they're going to get Jonathan Allen and Montez Sweat. Yikes. So now you're dependent on Smith. What's his name? Smith Williams.
Jason.
And be the guy. That means Kerrigan is leaving because now you can't afford Kerrigan. You know, he wants to go somewhere else, and it'll be nice for him to give us a discount, but he's not. It's a business, so he's going to go somewhere else and get paid. But who knows? He might say, there's an opening now. All I wanted was snaps. So, you know, so then, so that's like half the defensive line. So then on the offensive side, you pay Sheriff. You got to make him the top guard.
Yeah.
You have to, because now you're stuck. You got to protect Deshaun Watson, right? Then we just go, hey, we got to rock with Lucas at left tackle. And who's the other young left tackle that we had? Christian.
Yeah. Oh, God.
So Christian Lucas, look, hey, these are all the scenarios that have to have. Oh, you got to pay the center, right?
He already got paid, so we're good on that one. Yep, remember?
Yeah. Bingo. Yep. Thank God, because man, trying to after all this goes down, it's like then the cap is slashed in half, and we're looking for corners. So then we're gonna flip. We're gonna flip from a defensive team to an offensive team because we're gonna have holes everywhere on defense. But then we got Watson now, right? And we got to bring in a receiver. We don't have a draft pick to do it, so we're praying that Curtis Samuels can take a decent deal. You're hoping that Corey Davis can take a decent deal. Hey, we got Deshaun Watson. He can make you a very good wide receiver. Right. So now you're now doing that pitch. But if you strike out, if you miss out, because you're not going to get Godwin, you're not going to get Galladay's and those guys. That's just forget about those guys. So now you're looking at the second-tier guys like Corey Davis and Curtis Samuels. You can't get those guys. Then you got to go AJ Green, T.Y. Hilton. It's not bad, but it's not great. So that's kind of what it's going to kind of look like. And, you just try to build the team the best way you can, We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah, it'd be wild. I said, can they just take Landon off our hands and then
Exactly.
we don't have to worry about it. But like you said, we may overvalue him because of his
Hey,
contract.
there is a way to get rid of Langdon. You give them 3 firsts,
Mm-hmm.
you give them 3 seconds, 3 thirds, Landon,
Oh God.
and
Woo,
Payne.
God.
Yes. So
Woo! Help it, Jesus.
yeah, so there is a price for everything. Look, Jared Goff, they took that Jared Goff contract, and that was an extra first and third just to get that, right? So now it's kind of like, okay, we got Landon for you. You want to take it? You got to give up more,
Right
so.
there in the morning. Whew. Brother. Phew. So let's just say that everything stays calm and we don't go the route of Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Sheehan reported this morning, yesterday morning now, that that Washington is big on Justin Fields.
Mm-hmm.
And let's think about it this way. At one point, before I watched the national championship game, I thought he was going to be the second quarterback off the board. Now I'm not too certain about that.
Right.
We could be at a point where we may trade up. If you're Ron Rivera and company and doing your due diligence because they like his leadership and what he offers, do you go ahead and make that jump with a team? Let's say, I don't know, like Detroit at 7 to give them 19, you give them 7, and they may give them your second round pick or maybe a pick next year. What would you do that?
Yes and no. Let me plug this up real quick.
Go ahead, take your time.
So my second quarterback in the draft is I love me some Zach Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
I see some Patrick Mahomes vibes. I'm not saying he's Patrick Mahomes. That is not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is the guy there's a kind of way that he plays. It's the kind of swag that I understand he's playing for a school that doesn't play anybody, but the eye test says that he can make some of these throws. But anyways, Justin Fields to me is number 3. So you got Lawrence, Fields, however you want to rank it. Those are the top 3. Okay. And if the front office is sure, I gotta trust the front office.
Okay.
The Ohio State, it scares me. All the quarterbacks and it hasn't worked, and then you get another one and it hasn't. So that scares me. I'm not gonna lie. They say don't judge the helmet, judge the player. Okay. I'm just saying. I've just seen Ohio State guys get drafted over and over and over. Is there any Ohio State starting quarterbacks right now in the NFL?
Yeah. Nope.
Okay. So I mean, you can't get mad at me for saying what I say. Now, if Fields is the guy, if he is, hey, what do I know? I don't know nothing about football. I'm a fan. I just watch the games and just, enjoy myself. Those are the guys that are getting paid the big bucks. If they want to risk their job, please go right on ahead. So if they say that Fields is the guy, and let's say that Zach Wilson goes number 2 like the second quarterback drafted. Let's say the Jets don't take a quarterback and Miami doesn't take a quarterback, and then somewhere down the line somebody takes one. And if Fields is still available and he is the guy, right, then you definitely got to go that route because you believe that he's the guy. He'll be cheaper than Watson. So I'm kind of glad that you brought the point up because here is a scenario of what it would cost to get a guy like Fields. Let's say that Fields is available at 7. For some odd reason, he's available at 7 or whatever spot, maybe 5. I think Cincinnati's 5 or something like that. So whatever spot that he'll be available that we got to jump up so that the next team don't get him is going to cost 19. So it's going to be first round pick this year, second round pick this year, and a first next year.
Yep.
That's what it's going to cost. Is it worth it? Yes. We did something similar to get RG3. Matter of fact, we paid more to get RG3. I forgot what that deal was, but it was bananas.
Oh, it was stupid. I was at that game when Jeff Fisher sent out all those captains that were because of the draft pick. I didn't realize what had happened until we got in the car. But yeah, I mean, and it was a lot of dudes. I remember like 5 or 6 dudes that were there because of that trade.
Man, so that's kind of what it's going to look like. So, like I said, if the team believes in Zach Wilson or if they believe in Fields, you're going to make a move like that because obviously it's cheaper and you're not losing a defensive starter. So that might be the best option. Even a guy like Trey Lance, I don't know much about him. I'm not so much excited about him. I'm hearing mixed reviews. Like I said, I'm not a draft guy or whatever. I haven't watched him. I got to start looking at film for myself to kind of see what kind of quarterback he is. But if they think a guy like Trey Lance is their guy, and if he's available in the top 15, you move up. So to move up to the top 15 and take a guy like Trey Lance, it's going to cost you the 19th and one of your thirds.
Mm-hmm.
That's even a cheaper option to then trade up to get a quarterback. But then it's kind of like the last time that a quarterback fell to 15 to us. See, my thing is the quarterbacks that are wanted, the quarterbacks that people want to trade up for, you got to think like, man, maybe they could be special. Right. But the quarterbacks that fall to you, I don't know. That Haskins draft, I don't want to talk about the past, but that Haskins draft was so weak. You had Kyler Murray at number 1, okay? Daniel Jones went number 2, right, at some point.
Yep,
right?
He was second one, yep. 4 or 6, yeah.
Something like that. It was crazy. And then Haskins fell to us at 15, and we were jumping up and down. And he wasn't even the guy. And then, Drew Luck was the next guy in the second round. So it's kind of like that was a weak draft. There's only like one guy that has a secure job right now, and it's Kyler Murray. So crazier things have happened. Mm-hmm. I'm all for it. If the front office says Fields is the guy, I'm all for it. If they trade up for a quarterback, then I know they believe. They know that that's the right guy. So that's definitely a cheaper option.
Yeah. I'm more for it than that, but it's the old adage though. If you're saying you're going to put success, I think in the grand scheme of things, on hold for a little bit, because this guy's not going to take you to he's not going to take you to the top in year one. He may get you to the playoffs,
right?
But you're going to have an established running game behind him. You're going to have a decent receiver, aka another tight end beside Logan Thomas, maybe a Gerald Everett. You can go out there and get. We don't know, but I just think the Ohio stigma. It's kind of like back when you were a kid, right? Everybody wanted Crayola crayons, not the dollar store crayon. Right. Because when you picked out, I would never forget when I picked out the red crayon from the dollar store crayon, it always drew purple, not red. I want red. I don't want purple. And that's exactly what it is. These crayons are proven for me. Right. I don't know about these other ones. I'll throw them out. So that's the same thing I think of with quarterbacks. Like, do you want the vet who you can get, but it's going to cost you a little bit more? Right. You're going to color in the lines a little bit more with better quality, than you would with these cheap dollar store ones. So, but
now, I got a scenario for you. You might not like this. So let's say that we do trade up to get a guy like Fields or Wilson or even Trey Lance. Those seem to be kind of like the guys that everybody's trusting that are going to go first round. So if you get one of those guys, right, you got to roll with Taylor Heinicke and Kyle Allen. They got to, you compete. One of those guys win, those guys become the starter. If we're winning with those guys, guess what? The first round pick does not play this year, which could most likely be the best case scenario. If you have Taylor Heinicke and Kyle Allen playing, guess what that means? That means that Cam Sims will not be your wide receiver 2 next year. He'll be your wide receiver 3 or 4. That means that, we're going to go into free agency and we have money to bring in one of the top dogs or the second tier guys like Corey Davis / Curtis Samuels or the next, tier after that. So it's not really an L or a loss when you've improved your wide receivers 2 and 3 and your tight end. Let's say you bring in another tight end. Let's say we bring in a Gerald Everett, we bring in Curtis Samuel, and then we bring in, let's say, another Rashad Higgins, something like that, with the guys that we have now, right? And then let's say you got to bring in another running back because Peyton Barber ain't it. So let's say you bring in a guy like there's going to be tons of running backs available via free agency. I can't wait to get into my running back free agency pod. You're going to have guys like Connor. I'm not saying he's the best, but I'm saying, hey, he's better than Peyton Barber. You're going to have guys like Marlon Mack. you're going to have so many running backs available that somebody's going to fall to us that's going to be better than Peyton Barber. So just imagine, let's say you get you a James Conner, on a friendly deal. You get your Corey Davis or Curtis Samuel, and then another lower tier wide receiver. And then you add either a Jonnu Smith or a Gerald Everett with Taylor Heinicke or Kyle Allen. That's a decent offense. It's not the best, but it's decent. And then that gives that rookie some time to learn, to groom himself. And then if the coach feels like, hey, the rookie's ready, you might see a change, a quarterback change by week 10, 11, if they deem that he's ready. But if they're winning and everything is going well, and then with the new running back, the running game is going, you can rock it with what you got. And then next year is the year that you bring in your young quarterback and say, hey, the keys to the city is yours. Hey, I need you to start to perform right away because we've given you a whole year to learn. And that's kind of what Ron Rivera wanted to do with Dwayne Haskins. He gave him time to learn, but he was not catching or grasping those things that he needs to. Some quarterbacks can pick it up right away. Some take some time. So that's my scenario if we strike out on quarterbacks. Trade up, get a guy, sit him for a year.
Yeah, to Dwayne's point, I think he was just too busy with the glitter, but that's a different story, different day. I'm not opposed to that. And I think you're in some of these Facebook groups and it's a dark place. There's some dark place. That's a dark place to go in some of these groups. I'm not gonna mention any in particular, but I sit there and I lose faith in humanity. And you got to think that people in the organization are probably in these chats looking at stuff.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
And my thing is, I think the fan base and the media will come together and botch this.
Yep.
Well, allow the team to botch this. That stopgap quarterback, whoever it may be, whether it be Heinicke or we bring in like a Mariota or somebody like that, they will botch it.
Right.
And then Dan will get wind of it. And then Dan will be like, Ron, we got to push. Well, he's not ready. That's what my big concern is. Exactly. Like, we knew Haskins was not ready.
Right.
We saw it with the Giants.
Right.
He wasn't ready. And then we saw that he finally, and it took him how many games really to get acclimated in consecutive weeks, like 3 games.
Yeah.
And the best game they had was against the Panthers, and he threw one touchdown and 2 picks. Come on now, boys and girls. That's what I don't get.
Yeah.
Is people don't see that. They want to rush, whether it's good or bad. Like, I'll say this, and I'm not going to judge character, and I don't want to bring him up anymore. I don't like bringing up people who aren't on the team anymore.
Absolutely.
But he was a turd.
Right.
That's exactly what he's a turd. It's the same reason why. It's the anti-reason why I want Deshaun Watson, because not only is he a good quarterback, he's a good dude.
Right.
Dwayne was a terrible quarterback, and he wasn't that great of a dude. And that's what and people were pushing him in one direction, either left or right. And we got hosed, and progress got stopped.
Hey, you know what happened with Dwayne? And this is the last thing I'm going to say about Dwayne. We got him at 15. I was excited because based off of what's available, he was like a top 3 quarterback in that weak quarterback draft. It just is what it is. And he fell to us at 15. We were excited, and he wasn't ready. I didn't realize that. I didn't know that he was 2 years away from being ready. And he's a quarterback that needed to sit for 2 years. We're not saying that the talent is not there. We're not saying that the arm strength is not there, but the maturity wasn't there. A lot of the different things that you need out of your starting quarterback, it just wasn't there. And granted that when he came into the situation that he came in, Jay Gruden said he wasn't ready. Dan said he was. Dan pushed his guy out there, and it was sad that his first game was with the best defense in the NFL, the New England Patriots. And he looked awful. If it wasn't for that Steven Sims touchdown,
No, that was McCoy. That was McCoy that started that game. Remember?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But then,
You said that Jay's group guy.
yeah,
Okay, yeah. Sorry.
They pushed him out there.
Yeah.
And wait till the next game. You don't push him out there versus the best defense in the NFL.
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of like then he was not getting first team reps, and I get that they didn't develop him, but it's kind of like you got to take responsibility. It's either you have it or you don't. And there was never a moment that I saw an it factor. One of my guys from Nashville was like, "Hey man, what do you think?" And I'm kind of like, I don't know. You know, like when you see like that it factor, that throw or that scramble or that confidence, like you you saw that out of Joe Burrow. You even seen that out of Gardner Minshew at times.
Yeah,
like Gardner Minshew was a 6th round pick. What the heck? And I think Gardner Minshew was probably part of their draft. I can't remember at this point.
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah, you're right.
He's probably the second best. He's the second best quarterback of that class. You can debate Drew Luck, Danny Dimes, Gardner Minshew, and you can make a case and say Gardner Minshew was playing with a lot less. But sometimes, man, quarterbacks have it. Sometimes they don't, and sometimes you can see it immediately. Even in preseason, I didn't see anything special out of the guy. So it scares me because we don't know how to draft quarterbacks. That's one. And number 2, we don't know how to develop them. But then I got to be positive because we have new guys running the show now, right?
Yep.
So,
yeah, you're like, I mean, it's like me. I've been kind of back and forth with drafting a quarterback because I said this franchise has proven day in and day out over the last 20-some years they're incapable of developing young quarterback talents. And then the fan base has proven that we don't have the patience for it. We're ready to move on. You know, we're not making Jello. We're trying to make a steak here. Exactly. So, you know, we've got to focus on that. And you know, going into the offseason, move from the quarterbacks. You kind of mentioned a couple of them, but give me 3 key positions we need to draft in the offseason and how you would address them. Okay.
Draft or free agency? Draft.
Yeah, either way. Okay. Either how you would address them.
All right. So top 3 positions, I think we need a wide receiver too. Badly. I mean, Terry McLaurin, he's trying, man. He's tired.
Yeah.
He's tired of carrying us. So we need a wide receiver too so bad. Whether we're drafting at 19, there's going to be names like Bateman, praying that Devontae Smith falls, which he's not. But Jalen Waddle is a possibility at 19, especially if all these guys are going quarterback crazy. I mean, there's so many names at wide receiver that you can get at 19 or even in the 2nd round. Then you move to the next most important position is linebacker. We need a middle linebacker that can cover. We need a middle linebacker that can tackle. We just need a linebacker. Look, if we get a really good middle linebacker, you know, there's some out there, Xavier Collins, there's Jock from Notre Dame. When I get into the draft stuff with Phil from the Hub, the guy knows the stuff. We're going to dive into different possibilities on who to draft. There's even a guy from North Carolina, him being a big North Carolina guy that we can possibly get in the 2nd round. But if we need a middle linebacker, there's some decent ones available in free agency, like Jayon Brown from the Titans and other guys. But we need one. We need one. When you have a really good one in the 1st round, like, hey, Devin White was one, Devin Bush was one. And these were guys that were selected between, if I'm not mistaken, anywhere between 13 and 17, if I had to guess, somewhere around there. They were picked in that middle. But you see what they do when they're healthy and when they're playing. They are game changers. Devin White from Tampa Bay, he had 9+ sacks this year as a middle linebacker. Just imagine if you can deploy your middle linebacker from time to time, and with our defensive line, he's out there getting sacks, or he's out there covering, flying from sideline to sideline. That's what we need. Quarterbacking. We need a leader on that defense that's going to quarterback, call plays, and lead. That's a very important position. And then I'll probably say the 3rd most important position, the most important position, is quarterback. It's quarterback. I mean, how can I forget that? But yeah, I thought it was obvious. But quarterback, wide receiver, and linebacker.
I got you. Okay,
we can fix those 3. We're solid. And an honorable mention is free safety. Honorable mention is free safety.
You don't like Troy Apke back there?
Nah. I'm not even sure. I like. Well, when Landon Collins comes back, we got decisions to make. So Landon Collins is now back at the strong safety, and then you got to play Cam Carl. You got to play him. So maybe he plays some free, he plays some dime, he plays some different nickel packages, things of that nature. But we definitely need a ball hawking free safety, a guy kind of like a Darnell Savage from Green Bay. Or even if you're not going to get a guy like that, then you just got to pray that Cam Carl can play that free safety position, which I think he can. Might not be his best attributes, but we got to do something at that position as well.
Yeah, I think we've got I think a couple of spots we can fix up here, and then if you can take advantage of a bad NFCs, I think we could make our noise again. And the best thing is, to be a better team, you don't necessarily have to win the division this year. That's the thing. I think that if you can win 10, 11 games, still be the 5th seed, you can go out there and still make some damage in the playoffs and still have an opportunity to host. So we'll see. And talking about the 5th seed, and this is kind of last segment here, is the Super Bowl. Who you got?
The New England. Did I say New England? Oh, they're not.
Yeah, it's an honest mistake.
But I meant Kansas City Chiefs, though, to be honest.
Oh.
A twist.
Oh, no. You got me.
A twist. But yeah, the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes is amazing. So when you're talking about that kind of quarterback, Deshaun Watson is that kind of quarterback. And just imagine if Deshaun Watson had that kind of receiving core and that kind of talent around him. I mean, he can make those throws. I'm not saying that Deshaun Watson is better than Patrick Mahomes, but I'm saying, hey, Deshaun Watson is special. And like you say, you need a generational talent to win. I look at basketball. I make a lot of basketball references. If you watch the NBA, go back and look at the last 15 teams to win a championship. Every single team, I don't know if the Detroit Pistons are in that, but they were the only team that just had a whole bunch of guys that are solid. No really superstar generational talent type guys. Although you can debate about Ben Wallace. But if you look at the NBA, you need that special generational talent, that LeBron James, that KD, Curry, Kawhi. You need that special player that you can give him the ball and he can make some magic. Same thing in football. You need that special talent. Most times it's the quarterback. Most times. Every now and again you get like a Ray Lewis here, or you get a Troy Polamalu here, or you get some of those defensive legendary type players. Sean Taylor, rest in peace. If he was alive, that's that kind of, you know what I'm saying? That kind of guy. Yeah. You have it, and sometimes you have it in two ways. You have a guy like, for example, when the Broncos won, I understand Peyton Manning was dying, his arms was noodly and everything, but his leadership, his presence, along with a guy like Von Miller. See what I'm saying? So you need those generational types. And I think that Patrick Mahomes is one of the best that we've ever seen. He's off to one of the best starts ever, And I also believe that had Mahomes got the ball in that overtime versus New England.
Oh, yeah. That's a wrap.
It was a flip of a coin. Now we can be talking about Mahomes as a two-time champion on his way to his third straight. Yep. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to win 3 straight. I'm not saying he's going to win a whole. What I'm saying is he's going to win this game, and it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a close game, but I think that Mahomes does enough to get Kansas City over the top.
Okay. I think this one, I'm so exhausted by Brady that I don't really care anymore if he wins or not. I'm like, it is what it is. I like the story of the coaching staff, of course. BA is a good dude. I think he deserves to win one as head coach. See Byron Leftwich, a local guy, win as an offensive coordinator. So, I think that's good. And sometimes you got to deal with the devil. So Antonio Brown, Tom Brady, and Gronk, you got to deal with them. But I think at the end of the day, I love watching my homeboys.
Mhm.
He's the only guy that I will. Kansas City's on. Kansas City.
Yeah.
Oh Lord,
Yeah.
let me
Yeah.
click on over there. Let me
Must
click
see
on.
TV.
Yeah, this is must see TV
Must see
on
TV.
NBC. But and the last part of the Super Bowl question, I kind of said something about, I alluded to it earlier on,
Mhm.
and I said I was going to get your response to this. What can Washington learn? And shout out to Travis Thomas. He kind of had this question on his radio show. What can Washington learn from these Super Bowl teams and how far they are from
Mhm.
maybe reaching this a point like this?
Right. So I'll start with the Tampa Bay team. You look at Tom Brady, you see longevity, you see a professional. And that's what every quarterback that we bring in, they should have a poster of Tom Brady in their locker room and say, you know what? I want to be like this guy when I grow up. Yes, you've probably heard some stuff, the deflate gate and all the stuff. That's besides the point. But when you look at his body of work, he's a professional. For the most part, he stays out of the news. You don't see him out there doing stupid things. He's a franchise quarterback. And there's a way that you carry yourself. So the guys that you're bringing in, they should be aspiring to be franchise quarterbacks. Even if it's Heinicke or Allen, they should be aspiring to be franchise quarterbacks. I mean, they should have that mindset like, yo, I'm the leader of this team, and you see the leadership. So as an organization, you can look at what Tom Brady has done, both in New England and in Tampa Bay. You can look at the camaraderie. You can look at hard work. You can look at the precision. You can look at Tom Brady taking these guys before they even became a team and they're working on things, the work ethic. So those are some of the things that we can look at Tampa Bay and say, hey, they got the blueprint. Brady has done this in multiple places. Let's look at what they're doing. And then for the organization, let's go get talent. Let's go get talent on offense. Because if Brady is doing this thing with the best receiver, to me, I think they have the best receiving core. Yes, better than the Chiefs. You got Evans, Godwin, Antonio Brown as your third guy, a Hall of Famer as your third guy. You got Gronkowski, you got Brake, you got Leonard Fournette, you got Jones. These are all high-class, high-level guys, people that were drafted high, people that have been in Pro Bowls, people that are going to be in the Hall of Fames, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, if Brady is doing this, who the heck are we to say that we're only going to have Terry McLaurin out there? You better go get talent on every single position, whether you're drafting them. And not only that, Tyler Johnson from Minnesota. Tampa Bay drafted him in the 5th round, a guy that I wanted. That's another up-and-coming star potential type wide receiver if he's groomed correctly. So you got to look at this thing as an organization. What are these high-class organizations doing? When they get these high-class players that pretty much change the whole organization, what are they doing? So the organization got to look at a team like Tampa Bay. And then on the flip side, you look at Patrick Mahomes. You look at the draft. They traded up to get their guy. A lot of guys didn't really think of Mahomes as what he is now. Think about it. A lot of guys went over him. Trubisky, Watson, the list goes on. So you look at it, the football team, if a guy that you believe in is in the draft, you go get your guy. So you look at it from that aspect. But then you also look at it again as they continue to get weapons for this guy. They continue. So it's kind of like there is a theme here. You get your special players, you protect your quarterback, but then you also get them maximum weapons. You continue to improve. So the whole theme of this whole thing is you continue to improve. How do you continue to upgrade? You're never content with where you are. Right. You're never content with any position group. How can I make this offensive line better? What can I do in the draft or free agency? Those key little pieces, those great value buys. You did some with Logan Thomas.
Great value.
How can you go and find these guys that nobody want? You bring them in, you clean them up, you wash them up, you make them nice and shiny, and you make them something nice. So how can you continue to improve? How can you improve that safety position? How can you improve that linebacking position? How can you improve that wide receiving core? So you look at the teams that are in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl, and you see that they are special. How do you continue to get better? How do you continue to get better? So that's my biggest takeaway. is how can the team continue to improve? That's the biggest lesson that they should take from the two teams that are in the Super Bowl right now.
I got you. That's great in depth right there. Taking it a deeper dive in there. And Manny, brother, I appreciate you coming on here and taking your time, so generous with your time and everything. So y'all check out Manny. I got his links here. I'm gonna put his channel in the card right there. Follow him on Twitter. The dude knows his stuff. Got a lot of great things. If you like NBA, he's over there talking to NBA all the time as well. He has his NBA pod on the channel. So check him out. I see the Lakers up there. Your Lakers are doing good. My Wizards are terrible. I've seen better defense in so many other places.
Yeah.
But
I do love the Wizards as well, but the Lakers are number one for me.
Hey man, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Look. I watch hockey.
I feel you, man.
So I don't have to be that disappointed though. But yeah, y'all check out Manny. And as always, I'm Sanchez 405. I love you guys. Thank you for everything you're doing for the channel here and helping it grow. Love, peace, and hell, y'all. And I'll be talking to you real soon. I'm out.